Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. My name is Dana Pearce, and I'm going to talk to you more today about IXL. Just like with any other program, there are so many components to IXL. Today, I'm going to focus on two very important things. I'm going to focus on the continuous diagnostic component of IXL, as well as the SMART score. At the end, we're going to look at the real-time center and how that can help you see all of your students live while they are on IXL, even when they are at home. Okay, so to begin with, why should you use IXL in your classroom? Well, besides it being fun and engaging, there's been a lot of research done. And what I like about IXL is that a little bit of IXL goes a long way. So we're not stuck with a 30-minute program we do daily. Schools where students answer just 15 IXL questions per week outperformed others on state assessments. Okay, the strive for mastery is important. When we know that when students consistently reach proficiency and mastery of the IXL skills, schools could see as much as a 16-point jump on state assessments. The enhanced learning in math and ELA, as well as building a consistent IXL culture. What that means is the research shows that schools achieve even greater performance gains when they support the student learning with both IXL Math and IXL ELA, and especially the schools that start it with the younger grades. So schools that implement the IXL across all grade levels consistently see the greater growth on state assessments. And finally, the longer schools use IXL, the better they do. This will, I think, be our third year at Central Elementary, maybe fourth, implementing IXL, and I think this will be our best school year yet. So the first thing we're going to focus on is the continuous diagnostic. Okay, so what is the starting point? If we were doing a recipe or putting something together, we always have to start with something. The first thing you want to do with IXL, and this might take a few weeks, is the continuous diagnostic. Well, this is different from your traditional diagnostic. This is not something we will do once at the beginning of the year and then again in the middle and perhaps at the end. Just like the word says, continuous, we will continue doing it weekly, but we've got to get started with it. So the perks of doing the IXL's continuous diagnostic to me is you don't need to set aside certain testing days. You can get up-to-date stats anytime so you can keep up with your learners. You'll get a very unique action plan for each student, and that's where we'll hear the word pinpoint in a few minutes. And the students, to me, they really do enjoy it. Okay, we're going to take a look at a student's IXL and what they would do to complete their continuous diagnostic. Okay, now I do want to tell you some things. This diagnostic, the first diagnostic they take to get pinpointed, usually takes about 120 to 150 questions. To me, last year, that was, I would say it maybe took a week and a half to complete because we just did it when we could. And that's what IXL is designed to do. Usually for math, it's going to take the students completing about 70 to 85 questions. And for ELA only, it will take about 50 to 65 questions. Keep in mind, after we get that part done and we have the students pinpointed, we'll look more at pinpointing in a few minutes. The only thing you have to do is make sure that your students spend maybe 5 minutes a week, 10 to 15 questions a week on this continuous diagnostics just to keep their stats up to date. So now you know why it's called continuous diagnostics. We're not going to stop after we get pinpointed and then just start working on skills. Each week, we should set aside maybe a certain day with your class and let them work on just their diagnostics. Okay, but we're going to get pinpointed first. So your students would click on diagnostic here, and then they're going to step into the arena. Now, I will admit, because I'm an ELA teacher and I don't teach math, before I went to this IXL training in my classroom, I said, well, let's work on the ELA diagnostics in here. You can do math in your math classroom. But they strongly suggest that the students, to get pinpointed, do math and language arts at the same time. Why? Because you don't want to wear them down. And research shows that they will perform better when they're interchangeably there together, doing reading, doing math. So normally, we're in the arena, we've clicked, my teacher said, let's do math and language arts. They are going to keep answering these questions until they're finally pinpointed. While they are on this diagnostics page, they can also click, well, I don't know this yet. Think about how that would make them feel. And they can also at any time see their levels. Okay. My students were pinpointed, but because of the distance learning, we didn't do IXL at home. And so because of that, because we haven't been doing the continuous diagnostic, we don't see the pinpoints anymore. We can still learn a lot from this page right here. I like that the numbers represent the grade level. So if we go down to ELA, we could see that this student's overall language arts level falls between, let's see, maybe 950 to 1100. So that tells me that this student is performing maybe on a 9th grade through 11th grade level. So just look at it like this. 300 means 3rd grade. 600 means what? 6th grade. And then it narrows down each skill. And once they're pinpointed, and I'll show you a picture in a minute, they're ready. They are ready to begin. And then this is where we have to stop and think, wait a minute. So if this student is on an 11th grade level in reading, why would I assign him 4th grade reading skills? Why would I say complete this IXL at home and do all of the 4th grade synonym skills? Well, it is okay to assign grade level specific skills, but that should not be our focus, because each student has a recommendations page. The recommendations page has all of the skills they should work on according to how they have performed on their continuous diagnostics. Well, okay, so let's look right here. You can see that identify and correct errors with compound and joint possession shows an 8th grade level. And because this student is in his recommendations page, he's not necessarily going to be doing, well, the 4th grade skills. He doesn't need to do those. And think about our struggling students that aren't quite ready for their grade level skills. Based on how they do, the recommendations will take them to their skills, even if it's lower. So basically, this does all of the work for you. Another thing I like is on their recommendations page, it does show the skills that you've assigned. So I can click here and see that my teacher has also starred identify prepositions, fractions with denominators of 10 and 100. Okay. And we purposely put a lot of skills on here just so that we could see a wide range. But these are the ones that maybe you're assigning for homework. They're still up here too. So, you could break it even and say, work on your recommendations that they've given you for a set amount of time, and then maybe pick 3 skills that I've assigned you. So the recommendations page is our little handy dandy page, and I like how it's all on one page. Okay, So the continuous diagnostic, I cannot stress it enough. We have to do that first. That's step one in IXL. And then after that, just remember that we need to do 10 to 15 diagnostic questions per week. And that's after they're pinpointed. That is not a lot of questions. And they also need to just work on IXL skills regularly. And that would be through the recommendations page that I've just shown you. Okay. We've talked about the range, that the diagnostic levels correspond to grade levels. 400 means the student's ready to start fourth grade material. I also like how we can quickly, on that handy dandy page, we can, let's go back to our diagnostics. We can print each child. It's really good for parents. Down here, print their diagnostic action plan. And this isn't going to look complete because we're not pinpointed anymore, but when we were pinpointed, it would show their exact levels. And again, it gives the suggestions, the recommendations here. And this is another way to get to it. I like how everything is color-coded. So anything with geometry, it's going to have a purple box around it. When you're doing measurement, you'll have this color blue. Data, statistics, and probability, this color. IXL has done a really great job to be as user-friendly as possible. Okay, so now we're going to just look at what it means to be pinpointed, which, yeah. And I'm sorry this is not clear, but we were just looking at ranges, and those ranges go away, and they're pinpointed. And under the little pinpoint, it shows their exact level. When they get pinpointed is when they are finished with their big round of continuous diagnostics. You're going to have students asking you every day, how much longer, how much longer? And when they get pinpointed will be when they're finished, when they're ready to start doing work on their recommendations page. So it would be a good idea to have an example of a pinpoint to show your students so that they'll know what they're looking for. And I've also included a video at the very end of this that you can show your kids that explains more about, what they're doing. Okay, next we're going to talk about the SMART score. We're going to get smart about SMART score. So right away, I said that it's important to remember the right SMART score isn't always 100. I'm not saying that it can't be 100. You can look at this chart here, and 80, actually 70 is not bad. 80 is proficiency, 90 is excellence, and 100 is mastery. And a comparison was like attempting 10 free throws, and your goal is to make all 10 free throws in a row, 10 in a row. Sometimes that's really hard and it's frustrating. So then you might have to start over, or you might be happy with your, 80%. A 100 SMART score would actually be like saying you're going to get every single question right on the Georgia milestones in this area. And while that is possible, sometimes that 100 scares students. Please stay with me and watch this video that's under 2 minutes. It's very short, but it really does explain how we should look at the SMART score. I've also included this at the end too as a resource.
The SMART score is IXL's secret ingredient. It's the best possible measure of a learner's understanding of a skill, and it's the key to driving student success and confidence. Let's take a look at how it works and separate the fact from the fiction. Unlike traditional scoring, the IXL SMART score analyzes question difficulty, answer accuracy, and consistency to pinpoint students' level of comprehension. As students answer questions, their SMART score moves up and down between 0 and 100, and questions become harder or easier to challenge them at the perfect level. While students are still learning, the goal is to build a strong foundation. As they become more confident with the material and answer questions correctly, their SMART score increases. Whenever a question is missed, detailed explanations help set students back on the right track. And once a student has proven that they have an excellent level of understanding, they move into the challenge zone and really put their knowledge to the test. Inside the challenge zone, students don't just demonstrate their skill comprehension, but true mastery. Students must work carefully, read explanations, and really focus on the problem in front of them. Questions in the challenge zone can be difficult, and it may take longer to make strides, so students should feel free to take breaks and return to the skill later. Their progress will be saved, and they can always continue practicing and improving. A SMART score goal doesn't always have to be 100. It all depends on the student and the skill. 90 is considered excellent, and 80 shows a strong grasp of the skill, which may be appropriate when first introducing a concept. Start with an initial goal of 80 and challenge students to grow from there. Want to see the SMART score in action? Visit IXL.com.
Okay, guys, so let's just take a minute and review what we've talked about so far. We've talked about the continuous diagnostic, the importance. We've talked about how once they are pinpointed, they really don't have to spend that much time on their recommendations. 15 IXL questions per week. Of course, we can do more than that. Now, the 15 questions, IXL questions per week, does not include the continuous diagnostics we want them to do weekly as well. So 10 to 15 diagnostic questions per week, as well as at least 15 questions from the recommendations page. Okay, and we've also talked about the SMART score, and that's more of I think, a teacher decision, and it's based on probably each child, but it does not always have to be a 100. And now there are just two more quick things I want to share with you. I want to show you how easy it is to share your IXL lessons, to put them on Google Classroom, or to copy and paste onto something else. And I also want to show you what I think is a teacher's best friend, the real-time center. And it's just going to be really quick, and then we'll wrap it up. So I'm going to log on to, oh good, I am on mine. So first, I'm going to show you I do have to get out of the students. I thought I did. I'm going to sign out really quick, and I'm going to sign in even quicker. Okay, this looks more like the teacher. Again, there are so many things that I want to share with you about IXL, but I'm only going to focus on the few that we've talked about. We can save more for later. So we go to live right here. This is called the Real-Time Center. Okay. I'm really glad that I was working on a student earlier to show you things. So it's going to show him right here, which is going to be very helpful to us. So let's say it's in the morning, and part of your morning routine is for the students to work on their IXL. They finish their diagnostics, so they're on their recommendation page. Or maybe you've assigned them a 4th grade skill. So what this shows is all of your students who are on. We were in the diagnostic area, so it even shows that they're in the diagnostic arena, and they've answered one question. This will show you, so while you're busy taking up money in the mornings and all that, you can see all of your kids that are on. Let's say you told them to work on math, and you could see maybe a student was on ELA without even getting up by just looking on here. The red tile, if it shows red, it's going to show you that a student has missed 3 out of their last 5 questions. Oh, the student may need help. The gray, If it lights up gray, it will show that they're idle. Maybe we think they're on, but they might be on something else. The tile shows the student's current SMART score. And then the bar at the bottom of the tile would show the last 5 questions answered. And if they're green, correct, red, incorrect. So it's really hard for me to show this to you right now because I don't have any students on IXL. But this is one of the first things you want to do. And when you're not doing anything else, you want to have this live classroom up. It's really great. And it's not just to catch kids not really doing what they're supposed to do. Of course, you can see that, but it's really helpful to see which kids you need to maybe call up to your desk for some small group instruction. So that is the real-time center. The other thing I want to show you quickly is how we can get this sent to our Google Classroom. So we're going to go to our learning. Of course, I'm going to go to Language Arts. It was already there. I'm going to go to 4th grade. And I am doing distance learning, and I have done a live lesson, and now I want my students to practice similes and metaphors. Okay. And of course, we know that when we star, it automatically stars their sheet, and that's how they get their teacher recommendations. Anyway, so we're going to click on similes and metaphors. And this was in a new place, and it scared me. I couldn't find it earlier, but right here, share skill. And look, guys, they made it so teacher friendly. You can just copy the link, or you can click right here on Google Classroom, and it easily transfers over just as an assignment. So you've got those options right there. I really, really like. And I also want to tell you, while I see this right here, in the past, I had assigned ahead of time, students complete F1, F2, and I might say F1, identify similes and metaphors. But I was told at that training that F1 is not always going to be identify similes and metaphors. And you guys may already know this, but it's better to use this code right here. And you can even tell the kids, I want you to do A8M. And when they go in and key that in, 8AM, it will take them right to it. And that way you're making sure that you are giving them the right skill that you want. Okay. There's so many more neat things to this, but we're not going to be in overload today. So, in summary, I hope that what you can take with you is the importance of the continuous diagnostic, that it has to be done first, that it doesn't ever stop. We do it weekly. We talked a little bit about the SMART score and how, the ultimate goal is not 100. And we've looked at the real-time center. I've included some videos right here that are all very short. Here's one that would be great to show your students at the beginning of the year. And then if we do distance learning and we wanted to use IXL, this parent guide video is really good. I hope that you have some takeaways, and I also hope that you have some questions for me. I really enjoyed sharing with you, and I hope that you've learned a few new things or that you're remembering some things with IXL. Thank you so much for your time.